Okay, rounds. Trying this again. Okay, so that Facebook Live did not work. Okay, where is this? Anybody know?
Is that Petra?
That's Petra. Okay, I love Petra. We're starting our trip day one, actually day two, but at the very beginning, we are going to go to Petra. This is the coolest place ever. Like, it is so awesome. Like, if you think Indiana Jones is a pretty cool movie, this right here, as you walk through it and you see how like red the rocks are, it is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. Just so you know, let me kind of go ahead and start talking about a few things. From the beginning to the end, it's about a 2-mile walk. Just so I'm just kind of giving you some ideas. It's flat, okay, but this is awesome. I would encourage you. You have our itinerary. We're going to talk about it at the very end. Start looking some of these sites up because it'll get your heart ready for what you want to learn. So why is Petra such a cool spot? Well, there's a lot of history there in Petra. It's the home of, they're called the Nabateans. Okay, so Herod the Great's family, this is where they came from. Okay, so we're going to talk about a lot of things about Herod while we're there, but we're also going to see some really cool stuff. I mean, you're not going to forget this site. This site is unbelievable. Okay, so I love Petra. Go ahead, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now. At the very end, there's an optional donkey ride. If you don't do the donkey ride, you have to walk 2 miles all the way back out. That's the only way to do it. Okay, so but they're going to need to know who is in for the donkey ride at the very end. And it's cool. It's an awesome donkey ride. You're going to have a person with you. It's not like they just throw you on a donkey and say, go ahead. No, they're with you, okay? But they do have to climb a little bit. It's a little bit of a climb, but it's a neat little experience. So
Paul wants to know if we can run.
Oh yeah, you can do whatever you want. You know. So, but no, that's Petra. Let's go ahead and go to the next picture. Anybody know? You're gonna know all these by the time we get finished.
Dead Sea Scrolls, right?
You know, Qumran. Okay, this is the site. That's right there, a cave where Dead Sea Scrolls were found that were written pre-Jesus, right? So this is a really cool site because we go there and you start saying, "Oh my goodness!" Before this site was found in 1948. The oldest scripture we had was like the 9th or 10th century AD. That's the oldest actual scripture we had. Then they found this site, and it dates back to 2,000 years before Jesus. I'm like way before, not 200 years before Jesus. And I say that to say, do you understand when this site was found? It was right before Israel became a nation.
That's right.
And you had all these people saying, the Muslims saying, listen, our scriptures are older than yours. How can we trust yours? The oldest ones you have are 200 to 300 years after ours. Until this was found, right at the same time, Israel became a nation. Really cool. So that's Qumran. I love Qumran. The other thing you're going to see here, just giving you a little taste. A lot of the New Testament, you see all these things about the early Christians. And what you see is they are patterning themselves after this group of people called the Essenes. It is unbelievable. And so we're going to go there and talk about what they did on a daily basis. Even today, you realize how we take the Lord's Supper is patterned actually after the Essenes. Our view of baptism comes from the Essenes. There's so much here. I love this site. So this is going to be a day that we're going to do 3 huge stops. But this is the last one. All right, next. Anybody know? Besides Beth, anybody know? This is Caesarea Philippi. You read about the gates of hell. That right there is the gates of hell. When Jesus talks about the gates of hell, you're looking at them right there. Now, I don't know what you're thinking or what you're seeing. Wait until you get there. Your skin is going to crawl that day. I'll just tell you. It is one of those things that when you go there and you start unpacking what Jesus is saying on the site he's saying it, it's unbelievable. So this is Caesarea Philippi. It's one of those sites that like you can never get out of your head, but it also makes everything make sense. Next. All right, so that's just a taste. I wanted to give you a few tonight of just saying, okay, here's some of the places we're going. We can go through all of them, but I just want to give you a few just to kind of, you to start thinking about what all we're going to be learning. Okay, I need you to start thinking about some preparation stuff, so let's go ahead and go to the next slide. This right here is, besides Beth, anybody know? This is not our bell. It's a good guess. because it's kind of similar in shape, but it's not. It's in the south. It is a place called Masada. Okay? Masada. Now, why do I take you to Masada? It's going to be hot, hot, hot here. This is the south part of Israel. We're actually going to be even farther south than this, near the equator. Okay? But this is a hot spot. We are going to go there. There is no shade here. None. So we're going to go up on top of Masada. You see, we believe David was actually up there in the Old Testament. He uses the word Masada. This wasn't called Masada back then, but Masada just means strong fortress. And most people believe David wrote some of his things. He was up there, okay? So I don't know if that's true. There's no way until we get to heaven to know if that's true or not. But the thing about Masada, this is the fall of the Jews in 70 AD. This is what happened, or after 70 AD, 75 AD or so. This is where the Zealots go to. We'll talk about all this. You're going to get a lot of history. I don't know if you like history or not. By the end of it, you're going to like history. But this is where the Zealots fell. This is the end of the Jews. After Masada fell, Israel was not a nation until 1948. Meaning, this for 2,000 years, roughly, when this fell, that was the end of the Jews. Now, I say that to say this. Do you realize the Jewish military, up until just recently, every person in the military would run up. You see on the right side, there's a little, they call it the snake path. You see on the right? Okay, that's original to Old Testament time. When David, if David went up there, he went up that snake path. Okay? But it's on that right side. You see it go back and forth. I've hiked it a couple times. It is a tough hike, by the way. It is not as easy as it looks. I don't know if it looks easy. Maybe you say, no, it looks hard. It is. It's hard. And you think it's not going to be that hard, and you get up there, and it's tougher than you think. Now, this right here shows you a little bit of why it's important for us to prepare. Because it's going to be hot that day. If you're not somehow prepared a little bit, both physically I'm not saying you have to run a marathon, okay? But we have 103 days to start getting a little bit of our body used to some things that we're walking. Because here's what's happened. If you don't do anything for the next 103 days and you get there, you're going to get to I have no doubt you can physically make it to everything we're going to do. But what's going to happen is your mind's going to check out. So you're there physically, but not mentally. And you miss so much of what God wants to do while you're there. So part of why some of these things are important is I want you to see that, yes, there is some walking here and there. It's going to be hot a little bit. I mean, we're going in the summertime. Sorry. But if we prepare somewhat, somehow, I'm not saying you have to be running marathons. It can help you. Okay, next slide. Okay. I love this. This is in the south as well. We're going to be in places like this is a wadi in the south that the Israelites hiked down. Okay, this is one of their wadis. This is the same wadi. Anyway, there's a couple biblical stories in this wadi, and I love this place. But what I want you to see is there's rocks everywhere. I tell people all the time, I don't know what you picture when you picture the desert. It is not the Sahara. It is not sand. It is rock after rock after rock after rock after rock. You're stepping on a lot of rocks the entire time, okay? And again, down here, I just want to go into the teaching mode here, but there is so much in these wadis as far as just seeing that there's no shade, right? Do you understand why there's so many things in the Bible, especially in the Old Testament and Psalms, where God's talking about the shade tree or the cleft of a rock? It's because there's no other shade anywhere. These wadis run the same way as the sun. So there's really not any way to get any relief, hardly, okay? And so that's why so many Psalms and so many places in Isaiah and Jeremiah, you talk about all these things about getting rest and relief from the sun, okay? But just putting that in your mind. Go ahead, Matt, for the next one. And if you have any questions, whatever you got to do, yell it out, okay? Yell it out. Now, I don't know. So heart-wise preparation. So physically, I would say, I'm not saying you have to run marathons, but if you can start doing some walking, if you can start doing some things to get your body ready, it will help. I promise. It is worth doing. Second thing is heart preparation. Now, I'm not expecting you to read all of this. But sometimes, I don't know where you are in the Bible right now. I don't know what you're studying. I don't know where you are in your quiet time. But if you want to study things that we're going to be studying in Israel, these are the places that most of our texts are going to come out of. Okay? So if you want to study some of the books, these are the ones you want to focus on over the next 103 days. I'm not expecting you to read all these by then, but that might give you a guide. Now, there's two things that I tell people These are the two things that I was told the first time I went to Israel, that hey, if you want to do something, if you want to read a book and watch a movie, this is the book and this is the movie to do. Okay, the first one is called The Source by James Michener. The guy that took me, Ray Vander Laan, he makes everybody read that book before you go to the first time to Israel. Let me tell you, it is a long read. Okay, it is not an easy read. It jumps from time period to time period. But what it does is it gets you into the culture of the time. And Michener does an amazing job with that, kind of getting you into and that's why he had us read it. So if you're one of those that like to listen to audiobooks and you have a good 40 hours or whatever it is, you can put it on double speed. Maybe it's 20 hours, I don't know. But I'm serious, it's that long, okay? But you can be listening to that. Or Masada, if you have not watched the Masada mini, that is your homework before we go. You have 103 days to watch the Masada miniseries. You can do it. It is, it's kind of long. It's a mini-series of I think it's 6 hours when you put it all told, and it's not new, okay? So this is 80s type of movie, okay? So just get in your mind, it's not going to be 3D and just incredible graphics, okay? It's 80s, okay? But that thing helps you like you will not believe when you get to Masada. There's actually props from that movie at Masada today that you'll see. But that right there, we actually had, I think the first trip we had a little movie night where everybody kind of got together and watched it together. But I would recommend every one of you needs to watch Masada before we go. Because if you don't, you're going to miss some things that day that you would get if you watched it. Okay, if that makes sense. So Masada miniseries would be one that I would highly recommend. Let's go ahead and go to the next one, Matt. Okay, let's talk about some equipment. Okay, so one of the things you definitely need is a hat that has a brim on it. I would recommend. Now, doesn't mean you have to. If you don't, you better bring plenty of sunscreen. My first trip, my roommate, he was in high school. Okay, he just graduated high school, and he brought it was his dad. Sorry, it was his dad. And so I was rooming with him, and I was like, he said, oh, let me show you he got out his sunscreen, and it was like baby's first sunscreen. It was a half ounce. I was like, that's not going to last for 2 weeks. And sure enough, it didn't. He ran out day 2, So, number one, you need sunscreen, but you need more sunscreen if you don't have a good hat, okay? Tilly is the best hat out there, just so you know. If you want a lightweight hat that's going to be you don't have to invest in Tilly, but I will tell you, a Tilly hat is the best. It's the one that I use when I go to Israel. But you do need something with the brim, okay? It helps because if not, your neck is going to get pretty roasted some of those days in the desert, okay? Next, so Tilly. By the way, I have a packing list for you. Actually, let me go ahead and kind of pass some of these around. Does somebody help me? Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. I have a packing list for you tonight, and I can send it to you as well if you need it. But so here's the next thing. I get a lot of questions about shoes. Let me give you a story. My first time to Israel, okay, I didn't know. I'm an overpacker. I don't know about some of you. If you're like one of minimalists, you can go somewhere and just do a carry-on. I'm not one of those people, okay? I'm like one of those. I don't know. I might need the extra thing, okay? So I always pack way too much. We're going to get into some things on that sheet. Actually, Beth, whenever you get done with that, I need one of those too because I didn't grab one. So, but the equipment, shoes. My very first trip, I was like, I need to take 2 hiking shoes. And I knew, thank you. I knew that we were going to be there a while, and I'm like, so I took 2 pairs of hiking boots. I'm not joking. Day 4, I had brand new Keens that I just bought at REI. Yeah, and so don't buy Keens, don't you? But the sole started to detach day 4. And thankfully, I had another set of Merrells that I had with me, and I could wear them the rest of the trip, where I'd have been duct taping those puppies. But anyway, I say that to say good shoes are a must. I would say good shoes are a must. I like this type. You can get the hiking boots, but they're heavy, and they are hot. I started moving to these right here because they're lighter, but you do want some good traction because you will be in spots. So Engedi is a spot that there might be some wet spots and things like that, but it's all rocks. So you need something to grab. Okay, so you need, I would say, get some type of shoe that can be good. Okay, I think, and I'm not gonna listen. If you just bring your tennis shoes you have, you can still go on the trip. I'm just giving you tips that I've learned. Okay, so those can be very helpful. Questions about anything?
On the shoes, are you wanting a more rigid sole, or what are you looking at? Like, what's the driver of? Because obviously there's different types of hiking.
There are a lot. What I did personally is I went to REI, which they gave me some great advice for those Kings. But I went to REI and I said, "Here's where I'm going. What would you recommend?" Because I didn't know. I was like, here's what you're going to see though. It's going to be hot, and it's so. For instance, if you get waterproof, sometimes that makes your feet sweat like crazy. So waterproof, it sounds nice. Oh yeah, that way if I step in water, it's going to be good. Yeah, it sounds good, except for it keeps all your sweat in too. And so I like something that is not so rigid. Like the actual shoe itself is not so rigid that. But here's the thing: some of you, if you don't have strong ankles, let's say, my first 2 trips, I did get the higher boots a little bit to cover my ankles, because you're going to be unstable some. You're going to be stepping on rocks, and that can kind of move your feet a little bit. So sometimes that's also another thing that you kind of think about. So, other questions about the shoes? I'm not a shoe expert, but I can tell you my experience.
It's more rocky than...
More rocky and hot. Like if it's going to be rocks, and you're going to have spots that's what you're wanting. Because I will tell you, we're not going to hike Mount Carmel. But the first 2 times I went, we hiked Mount Carmel from the bottom where Elijah hiked it. And that is the hardest hike imaginable, because you have so many spots where it's like loose, and I went down a couple times. I'm trying to hike up this thing, and I went down a couple times, and there's just, you don't have good footing. So we're not doing that specifically, but yeah, go ahead, Beth.
Well, I would also say those are good for when we're in the desert and stuff, but when we're walking around Jerusalem, you want comfortable walking shoes.
You can. You can take multiple. Like a lot of times people might take tennis shoes. Like when you get in from the day, you're going to change clothes. You're going to go to dinner. Okay, so we haven't really talked about the day. But what happens is we're going to get up pretty early. We're going to have breakfast together at the hotel. Okay, and then we're going to get on the bus. Like for instance, the day we go to Masada, we got to be there at 8 o'clock. We've got to be the first group up. Okay, because we have too much going on. So we got to leave early that morning, just so you know. Okay, we've got to get out. I hope you're okay with that. If not, I'm sorry, but we're still doing it. So, but that's kind of the way each day is its own. We're not going to necessarily leave at the exact same time every day, but there are certain days we've got to get on the road. So that morning, we're going to start in the Dead Sea. We're going to go to Masada, then En-Gedi, and then Qumran, and then we're going all the way to Galilee before nightfall. Okay, we're going to be up in Galilee where Jesus lived for 3 years by the end of the day. So we're going to start in the very south and end towards the north. And so that's a big day, right? So anyway, I say that to say every day is its own. This trip is unique in that we are staying in more hotels than I usually do because we're starting in Jordan. Only way to do it. Only way we can make it work. So we are going to have to kind of pack up our belongings most days, bring them to the bus, okay? Keep them on the bus all day long, unpack them that night. Sorry, that's the way it's working out. Right now, when we get into the Dead Sea, when we're in Galilee, I know there's 3 or 4 days there. In Jerusalem, there's 3 or 4 days. So they're in the same hotel for a few days towards the end of the trip. The beginning of the trip, we're moving every day. We're like Bedouins, okay? We're going to be moving every day. Okay, so any other questions about shoes? But good point, Beth. Comfortable shoes are also something I would do because you're not going to want to stay in those after you clean up and you go down to dinner. You're going to want probably some tennis shoes. And you're not going to want those in the airport either. You're going to want something else. So, yeah, good point. And when we get to Jerusalem, by the way, and on the clothing I have on there, there's going to be sometimes you have to wear long pants. Like, you cannot go in certain places in Jerusalem with shorts on or even with stuff above your knees, and you can't have sleeveless. Okay, so there are certain spots that we have to be covered when we go in. So let's keep going. I'll get to that. Here's the insoles. I don't know if anybody's I got these before my last trip, and they were so much better. I just got some good hiking insoles. These are the exact ones that I bought, and I'm telling you, I took out the insoles that were in my shoes. I put these in there, and it was like walking on clouds. It was so much better. So just so you know, insoles can matter. I was talking to a guy at one of the stores, and that's what he said. He said, "You ever thought about putting better insoles?" I was like, "Well, no." He said, you're gonna thank me, you know, and I'm telling you, it's good. So getting some insoles that you like, that would be something else. Okay, hiking poles. You may think this is crazy. My trips, back whenever my first 2 trips, it was highly recommended for everybody. I was like, no, I don't need that. I didn't. Not saying you have to get them, but they can help, especially as we're doing some walking on some of those rocks, like in Engedi and places like that. They can really help give you stability, and they can also help with your energy, because it just gives you more. It's a world of difference. So here's there's different types of hiking poles. You can get some really, really cheap ones, or you can get some that are top of the line, that are really expensive, that weigh almost nothing. But hiking poles are something that you might want to consider. And I'm not saying everybody has to do it, but for some of you, that might be something you want to do. I would recommend it if you have any thoughts on that. Okay, shirts and things. Now, my wife thinks I'm crazy, which for many reasons, but for one reason, I like long sleeves there. I don't always wear them every day, but part of that is I don't like getting sunburned on day one and feeling but also too, I don't mind long sleeves. And again, some of you are like, no, I get claustrophobic, I hate being hot. I get it. I don't mind it. And so some of the Columbia shirts and some of the different things, that's one thing, those real thin ones, or the ones on the right, that you can actually roll up if you want, or roll down. Those are really, really good for Israel. So wear short sleeves if you want, they're completely fine. Just bring plenty of sunscreen, especially early on in the trip. The first half of the trip, we're gonna be in the sun a ton. Now, in the back end of the trip, we're gonna be in places where there's more shade, fine. But the first half of the trip, good luck finding shade, okay? We're gonna be in the sun a lot, just warning you a little bit. So, I like the zip-off pants on the ones. I don't take only these, but I like these because if you get hot, you can take off the bottoms of them. But the other thing is, when we go to places like Jerusalem, you need something either like this, or in some places actually you need like a skirt if you're a female, and that sort of thing. So we need something to cover down on the legs, and that's on your clothing list, by the way. On the clothing list, we have ladies can use a wrap around skirt or elastic waist skirt to put over their shorts. It must reach your ankles though. So, or you can do these long pants too. So either one's fine, but you might rather have a skirt, and that's fine too. So I like those. Next, I don't know how many of you have a road ID. Okay. I recommend on every trip, so I have it on my watch actually. It has my name, it has my address, my date of birth, my text, my wife's text, my blood type, all those sort of things. I think it's good to have on trips when you go out of the country and things, just because something can happen. And I've seen it. I've literally seen it with my own eyes where there's a medical emergency, and if you have something like this, it just helps. It helps to know if you have any allergies, what's your blood type, those sort of things. So any trip I lead overseas, I don't care if it's a mission trip or Israel trip, I'll recommend these. I'm not going to make you get it at all, okay? But it is something that, and you can get them, like I said, you can put it on your shoe. They've got some now for the shoe. They've got some for watches, and they've got just a traditional one too. So anyway, that's something you might want to consider. Not making you get it, just want to throw it out there in case you are interested. Battery chargers, I think, are good because you're out of the room for so long. Now, on the bus, they do have a place to plug in, but a lot of times it doesn't work, is what I know. So I would recommend, you might want to, because when you're on the bus, you will have Wi-Fi, okay? So you will be able to check things. Now, the hard part is, obviously, I don't know what kind of plan you have, but, honestly, I never get service when I'm over there except for when I'm in the hotel. When you get on Wi-Fi, that's when you can kind of communicate. Some of you might have plans where you want to, and that's completely fine. You can get whatever you want, but I do recommend, make sure you have some type of charger, with you. All right, next. The difference between an adapter and converter, right? So Israel is a different current system. It is nice to have a converter, not just an adapter. In your bag, when you get your bag, it's going to have an adapter in there, not a converter. Okay, so it's going to have an adapter that's in there you can plug into theirs to make your stuff work. Okay, but it's not a converter. So I do recommend thinking about buying a converter that you can plug in. That way, if you have, for instance, if you have, I don't know, I don't really use a hair dryer, but if you use a hair dryer into their wattage, it's going to blow up. Okay, it just is. So you need the converter to help.
Are they Europe?
Yeah. They're 220 over there.
But they're Europe.
Well, they're the
Or are they something
they're
else?
the 2 prongs, I believe, is what theirs are. You know what I
The
mean?
round ones?
Those round prongs is what theirs are. So, but you will get. Now here's our gear. Go ahead and go to it. So you're going to get. This is an old picture, but you're going to get. This is what you're going to get. Okay, about a month before we go, you're going to get an Osprey backpack, a really nice hiking backpack. Has a bladder in it, all that good stuff for your water. You're going to want that, by the way. But you're going to also get a notebook. You're going to get the top one is like the sites we're going to, where you can take notes in it. Okay, and it also has scripture references and things like that. And then over on the right, I mean, even like a flashlight. 'Cause there are places we're going in, like caves and things like that. You need a flashlight. You're going to get one in your bag. I mean, a pen, travel tags. So they kind of hook you up with everything that you really need on a lot of those sort of things. So you're going to get that about a month before we go. It's going to be a big box that comes to your house with your name on it. It's going to be like Christmas morning. So that's kind of the other part. Okay, the other thing is there is a course by GTI that they really want all of us to go through to prepare us before we go. And I usually want to do it together, where I'll say, this week we're going to do lesson 1. Now, that doesn't mean we have to watch it together, but we can watch it at our own time. I would love for us, if you're open to this, to meet and go over these lessons, because it will help you prepare before we go. Okay, so there's they just redid them a couple years ago, so I can't remember how many they have now. They used to be like 8 or 9 lessons. They may be different on number, but what we've done before is do them like once a week leading up to leaving, and it really helps kind of get you ready. And if you can't make it, we can video it, right? I mean, so if we find a time that might work for us, we can meet and do it, and then we can video for those of you that can't make it here. So, but here's kind of part of the course is a video, and they're not real long videos, but they're really good. I encourage people to take notes on them. Because we'll get together and talk about what we've learned. Go ahead and go to the next screen. Now, other question I always get is travel insurance. They do recommend, you don't have to get travel insurance, it's completely up to you. They do recommend it. GTI is always going to recommend travel insurance. I have one place that I usually recommend getting travel insurance through, and I will get that to you. I don't know, Matt, did you get that one? I know I've told Candace about it before her trip. Do you know which one I'm talking about? What is the name of that? Anyway, that's going to bother me now. But
there are 3 of them listed right now.
okay, those are the 3 they recommend. Okay, and those are good. They're more expensive. The one that I found that I used the last time, it's you pay for, and it's like anything you do over the next year or whatever it is. If you go over like 85 miles from your home, it kicks in. So it's not just for Israel. It's for anything outside 85 miles. You go on vacation to Florida, if something happens, this insurance covers it. And it's not just for this trip, it's for much bigger. And so actually, that's what I did the last time. So back during COVID, they made us all get travel insurance. They made every person, you could not go without showing proof of travel insurance. And so anyway, those sort of things were a necessity at that time. Well, I didn't want to use one of their plans. They're like, okay, let's add another $500 to this trip. You know what I mean? So this other one is much, much cheaper. And so anyway, so I can get that to you. I cannot think about it. I can't think of it off the top of my head. So that's traveling. Any questions on that? Okay, I do want to talk about our itinerary just for a minute, and I am here for any questions that you have. I don't want to keep you too long, but I do want to kind of get your heart ready. So I kind of made the next slide. Go ahead and go to it, Matt. This is how I do things. By the way, I have these little Excel spreadsheets that I make. These are perfect. Each day, I want you to see this. Each day has its own theme. Every single day, I'm going to have a certain theme. And some of these, by the way, they're not set in stone. Things can change, but I want to kind of give you just an overarching, what are we doing? Day 1, we're going to get into Ammon. The first day, just Plains of Moab. So we're getting into the Bible day 1. When you read about the Moabites, we're in their place, right? We're actually in the land of the Moabites. Now, Nebo is our first main stop, likely. Okay, Mount Nebo, where Moses looks into the promised land, right? And God's like, no, you can't go in there, that sort of thing. That's day 1. That is that's an amazing sight. You're going to love that sight. I'm going to have to tell you the story of Madaba when we're there. Madaba is one of those special spots for me, and I'll just have to tell you why we're there. Day 2 is Petra. That's our big Petra day. We're going to spend all morning in Petra all the way into the early afternoon. and we're going to eat there, all that stuff. It's going to be awesome. You're going to love Petra, but that's day 2. He did say, by the way, I talked to one of the main guys this week about this trip from GTI, and he told me, he said, and I talked to our guide as well twice this week, but he said, if anybody doesn't want to take the donkey at Petra, or you don't want to hike back 2 miles, they do have golf carts for $40, just so you know. If anybody's like, I don't want to walk 2 miles back, you might want to bring $40 that day, okay? That's, so anyway. Then we're going to stay in Wadi Rum. Wadi Rum is unbelievable. You will not, but we're going to stay in, it's called Sun City Camp. You're going to stay in these little Martian-looking camps that overlooks, like when the sun comes up, it is the most beautiful thing you will ever see in your life. It is unbelievable. So that's where we're staying. That's Wadi Rum. Wadi Rum is, you think about 40 years in the desert, just think about places like Wadi Rum. Okay, next day. So excuse me, we can say this. God among us, and this is where we're going to cross into Israel. So the first 2 days are all Jordan. Then we're going to finally do the border crossing that morning, and we're going to do, so Timnah is, I don't want to, there's so many cool things with Timnah, but the main thing I want to do there is that tabernacle replica, and it is going to be incredible. The tabernacle, whenever you're thinking about the tabernacle, do you realize there are 50 chapters in the Bible dedicated to the tabernacle? 50. So it's important to God. There's a reason for that. We're going to go in there. We're going to talk about it. It's really cool. A Christian group actually owns the tabernacle as part of a ministry to the Jews. So it's a really neat spot. They're going to do a lot of the teaching, but I'm going to share a few things too. All right, and then we're going to end the day at the Dead Sea. And we're all going to go down together and do kind of that float at the Dead Sea, get a little picture of all of us, all that fun stuff. It is the kind of the weirdest experience, of the trip. Of you just kind of, I can't go under, right? You're like reading the newspaper, just laying on top of the water, That's kind of the typical thing. Okay. All right, day 4 is thirsting for God. This is our big day. We talked about Masada, En-Gedi, and Qumran. Those are huge sites, all 3 of them. And you're not going to, this is an incredible day. You're going to love this day. But you're in the desert. It's going to be hot, okay? Day 5 is fully devoted. This is our where we're kind of going north. And we're going to, so if I talk about Gamla, right now you probably have no idea. This is the headquarters of the Zealots. Do you know who the Zealots are? Yeah. So the Zealots are the ones that were the kind of the nationalists, like you have to be Jew. If you do anything with Rome, I'm going to kill you. They took a little sword around called a Sakari, and if you had anything with Rome, they would jump out of the bushes, and that's our hometown is Gamla. We're going to go to that's where we're going to start the day. Is Gamla, and then we're going to go to Katrine. That's where we actually dress up in first century gear, go to a first century village, a true first. We're going to go inside a house of first century village, and I want to do a lesson there of what it looked like to be in the first century. Okay, it's awesome. I love that place. Going to go to Dan and Caesarea Philippi. Caesarea Philippi is remember? Gates of Hell. Okay? Dan is also an unbelievable, I just want to teach all of it now. Okay, that is day 5. Day 6 is the theme is disciple. I think we're changing the itinerary where we're going to have the option for those of you that would like to hike Mount Arbel if we want. Okay, we're going to see. We don't know. There's a lot going on this day. If we're going to do it, we have to start early. And what we're going to do is, those that want to hike Mount Arbel, it's the ancient trail that Jesus and the disciples hiked. Okay? And you can start at the bottom. If those of you that don't want to do it, the bus is going to go around the base and come up to the parking lot. And there's still about a 15 or 20 minute hike from there, but it's easy. It's just a little gravel road. It's really easy. So that's going to be something we may or may not do depending on the time and all that good stuff, but you may have the chance to hike Mount Arbel. But this is a big day. Chorazin is, to me, my favorite location as far as seeing the first century is Chorazin. Hardly anybody goes to this site, and it is the most incredible site to me in Israel. I mean, I love it, okay? And so we're going to do a lot of teaching there, probably an hour and a half to 2 hours there because it's so awesome. Mount of Beatitudes, we're going to do Capernaum is Jesus' hometown. We're going to do a boat ride, okay? And so that's going to be really awesome. Day 7, this is the day that's hardest to get in. You have to be on your game, day 7, okay? You have to be jumping on the bus, off the bus, if we want to get to everything that we want to do, okay? The beginning of it is Bet Shan. That is the Decapolis city of Bet Shan, and it is awesome. You're going to love that. Second is, okay, Megiddo. where we get our word Armageddon. Armageddon is Har Megiddo. When you hear of Armageddon, that's the setting, is Megiddo. Okay, so we're going to go to Megiddo. Then we do Mount Carmel. It's the Elijah story. It is, I love that one. And the last one is Caesarea Maritima. That's Caesarea by the sea. We go to the place where Paul was chained up. Square inch, right here. We go to the place where he goes in front of Herod and Antipas and is doing all these different things, and he's making his case square inch. We know this is exactly where he was, on these stones. We're going there, okay? Day 8. Puzzle pieces is what I'm calling day 8. This is where we go Temple Mount. We're going to go on the Temple Mount. We're going to get to walk around the Temple Mount where the temple was. Now, I cannot teach there. If I teach there, they throw us out. Okay, so our guide has to teach there. I can't say anything about Jesus. He can't either. Okay, so we can't even take our Bibles. Okay, we have to be very careful on the Temple Mount. Then we're going to go to the Western Wall, or the Wailing Wall, as people call it. Wall Museum. You're going to get to see what it looked like for the Sadducees. So when I talk about Pharisees and Sadducees, right now I could probably tell you potato or potato. You're like, I don't know the difference. Pharisees, Sadducees, same thing. No, it's not the same thing. Very different thing, actually. They hated each other. But we're going to go to a house that was a Sadducee house, and you're going to be blown away by that. Likely, not joking, likely the courtyard where Peter denied Jesus 3 times. Okay? So that is the Wall Museum. Then we're going to go to the Herodium. That's where Herod built one of his huge mansions. He did not want to live in Jerusalem. Okay? He is king of the Jews, even though he's not really Jewish. And he did not want to live in Jerusalem. Why? It's nasty. It smells bad. So he moved a mountain called the Herodium that he lived in. That was his palace. And we're going to go to it. And it's unbelievable. Then we're going to finish our day in Bethlehem. We're going to go to a cave in Bethlehem. We're going to talk about the setting of Jesus' birth in a cave in Bethlehem. It's awesome. That's the day that we're going to have. There's two options for shopping. Okay, one is early on that Mosaic shop, day 1. Okay, that's a cool place where every person there that does all these mosaics, it's awesome. It's a huge shop. Every person there is disabled. So it's kind of our way of trying to support these people that are doing their best to make a living, and their stuff is phenomenal. Okay, and then towards the end of the trip, day 8, we have another place called Johnny's. Everything in his store is made out of olive wood from Bethlehem. So it's cool. I would suggest buying a nativity set there that is more culturally accurate than your nativity set at home is. Okay, because they have them there that's more culturally accurate. So we'll talk about that. So, all right, day 9. We're still in Jerusalem. We're going to do City of David. We're going to have a chance to hike in Hezekiah's tunnel. Highly, highly, highly recommend. Okay. My wife thought this was not going to be very good, and it turned out to be her favorite spot. Okay, it is awesome. But if you don't want to hike in the wet tunnel that they built, they do have a dry tunnel that was pre-Hezekiah's time that is much shorter, and you can do that one if you would prefer doing that one. I would highly recommend the wet tunnel. You will need your flashlight. If you don't like closed spaces, then maybe you don't need to do it, but it is awesome, and it's worth doing. And I've had people that were kind of claustrophobic that they did fine, and we'll talk about it, okay? But that's not a decision you have to make right now. All right, we are going to keep going to Pool Siloam. Now, this is a new thing in Israel right now. They're continuing to do some excavating at the Pool Siloam. It's way different than the last time I was there. I talked to my guide this week, and he said, you're not going to believe what it looks like now, like how much work they've done. So it's awesome. Well, they have just opened, as of 2 weeks ago, they've opened the original road that goes from the Pool of Siloam to the Temple Mount for tourists. We're going to be able to do that as well. So we're going to hike up to the Temple Mount from there, and we're going to do the southern steps. We're going to do, and then from there, okay, our afternoon is pretty cool because we're going to actually go outside of Jerusalem and do 2 other sites called Bet Shemesh and Azekah. Azekah is the story of David and Goliath. Okay, so it's going to be a cool day. Okay, last day is going to be Mount of Olives. We're going to start at the Mount of Olives. We're going to go to Gethsemane, Golden Gate, Sheep Gate. St. Anne's is a cool. You're going to love St. Anne's. It's a cool. It is the world's premier audio, I would say, of inside a church building. The way they built it is phenomenal. Okay, you're going to see what I'm saying over there. Pool of Bethesda, that's the story of, remember the guy that's like withered, he can't, he's like lame, and he's like, yeah, when the water starts moving, there's always somebody that jumps in ahead of me. That's the Pool of Bethesda, and we're going there, we're going to talk about that. Via Dolorosa is the way of the cross, and then we're going to finish with like the Garden Tomb, Jesus crucifixion. That's where we're going to finish our thing, and then we're going to head back to Jordan to fly out. That's a lot.
Is any of it weather dependent or?
There is no issues with weather in June. It does not rain at all. So that's why we go in June. Okay, you go this time of year. So you go this time of year, and you have to worry about that. I went in January one time. That's part of why I do it in June. I went in January. The heat you have to battle, but you don't have to worry about. I never want to lead a trip where literally the whole day can be washed out because of rain, and that's what happens in the South. So it can rain, and everything starts flooding to the south, and you're stuck, and you're in a hotel for a day or two, and you can't go anywhere. Well, who wants to do that? So that's part of why we go in the summer. So yes, you will probably say bye-bye to the clouds when you leave Tennessee, right? So just so you know, there actually are some back in Galilee, but yeah, you're going to see a lot of sun, just so you know. Other questions about itinerary? I'm not even sure what else I have on the slides, Matt, but that's Jerusalem. Okay, that's the Temple Mount.
How about food?
Food, okay. On this, by the way, on your packing list, I do have some things on here that might be very helpful. As far as food, here's what I recommend. I do recommend, it's under supplies, I'm trying to see where I put them now. I do recommend some electrolytes. So, I don't know.
The packets?
So, electrolytes, either the gummies or the packets. My first trip, again, I go back to some of these things. I'm just hoping this helps you. My first trip to Israel, we had 33 people that just graduated high school, and they thought they were invincible. All right, you should have seen these kids. All right, nothing like Brooklyn and Briley and Cole, but these kids thought they were invincible and they could just do whatever they want. Well, one kid, he was a basketball player, very good basketball player, in shape. Okay, day two. Okay, we have this long hike that is in a wadi, and it's in the south. It's hot, and our leader says, "Listen, you need to make sure you drink plenty of fluids." Well, this guy was already feeling. They're from Michigan, so it was a big change of scenery, even just being there. Day one, he got overheated, so he thought, "Well, I'm just going to start chugging water." You're going to have, by the way, on the buses these like gallon water things, okay, that you can refill your pack anytime you want. Okay, there's these big gallon waters. So what he did was he drank 3 of them that morning. Before we got on the bus at 7:30, he drank 3 of them. That's not good for you. Do you know what happened?
It ruined his electrolyte.
He started going into fluid overload. He didn't have the right electrolytes, and so we're hiking this wadi, and he starts going down. And this is a dangerous wadi, by the way, that we were hiking. A few years before that, there were 2 Americans that died in this wadi. They weren't in the. We're not going to be in that situation. We're not doing that. But they didn't have a guide. They were just hiking, and they went out too far. They didn't have enough water. So we had to literally turn around, carry him out, take him to an ER. The whole morning was shot, right? And then he had to stay in the ER for 2 days. Simply because he didn't use electrolytes. Okay, so I would recommend all of you bring some electrolytes. Okay. Second thing is some type of snack, because we're going to try to have lunch at a good time, but we're also may not be in a good spot to do that. It might be 2 o'clock that we have lunch. If you like paydays, that was always recommended to me. I love paydays. If you don't like paydays, don't take paydays. But paydays are good because of what they have with the salt in there and that sort of thing. But don't bring Reese's or something like that, okay? But you do want some snacks. I like Cliff Bars, actually, like peanut butter Cliff Bars. They're phenomenal. Now, I always pack way too many snacks, and I will tell you, you are going to eat well on this trip. You will not lose weight, I don't think, okay? because and the other thing is the first time I went, I brought so much snacks. I thought I'm going to eat these every day. In my hotel room before I left, I probably left them $50 worth of snacks. I mean, it was just I just left them in a pile because I'm like I'm too heavy now. I can't. I've got too many rocks from Israel. You know, I mean, my favorite souvenirs are rocks. By the way, you're going to get a lot of rocks on your trip, like David and Goliath and that sort of thing. But anyway. I say all that to say, yes, snacks are good, but you probably don't need like 1,000 a day either, okay? Yeah, have some. There may be a day you need it. Carry it in your pack with you, but you may or may not honestly need it.
Well, you said we do breakfast together in the
We
morning
will.
when we get on the bus.
Now,
but where do we hit lunch?
Lunch, okay, good question. Our guides are phenomenal. While we're doing our lessons, they will have lunch together for us, and it's usually sandwiches and things like that. But they will have it ready, so we're not having to stop for 2 hours and go to a restaurant and miss teaching. Like we eat on location at these sites, okay? And we're going to have some special meals. Like for instance, one day when we're at Arbel, usually we're going to have Israeli pizza. You remember Israeli pizza? Okay, you're gonna love some Israeli pizza. I'm not sure love is the right word, but you're gonna experience their culture a little bit. So we're gonna have different things to experience some Israeli stuff. In Jerusalem, we're gonna have. I think we're gonna have. Anyway, you'll see. There's a lot of good food though. No worries on the food. So other questions about that?
What's the breakfast then?
Okay. Brooklyn's like, I have a question, and then you're like, you just step right in there.
Ask you like.
No, I was asking about fire ants.
Okay, Brooklyn, I'm ready for you. Go ahead.
Fire ants.
Do they have fire ants or like poisonous insects?
I've never seen fire ants there. I don't think they can survive. I don't know. But no, I've never seen fire ants. Maybe they do. I'll have to ask my guide. He probably would know. But no, I've never seen them.
They're in Florida.
They have a different level
yeah.
over there, so you
But
probably
as far as what did you ask me?
I was just curious, like breakfast-wise,
Okay.
is it going to be like a
It's-
little continental breakfast with some
yes,
stuff,
now,
or is it going to be like
huge.
actual?
You will have.
So I can start off the day right.
You can eat as to your heart's content. Like
Bagels and
and
salmon.
not just like it's like you want salad, you can have salad. You want fish, you can have fish. I mean, it is like a smorgasbord for breakfast, and dinner's the same way. It is so much food, like you're not gonna go hungry. I promise. And if you like desserts, this is your place. Okay, you're gonna have like 30 different dessert options. Okay, so yeah, you can have everything. There's coffee in the morning. There's cappuccinos. I mean, you have all kinds of stuff. So
And dinner is at night when we get
dinner
back
is
to
back.
the
Yeah,
hotel?
dinner will be back at the hotel as well.
Okay.
What about currency exchange?
Yes.
Is that at the
Yeah.
hotel?
So, you can change currency. You do not have to either. I mean, unless you want to, because wherever we go, like at Johnny's, you can use your credit card or what. You get a better rate if you use your credit card as far as the exchange rate. So most people just do that. Now, you may want to get some shekels, for souvenirs. Johnny I usually get a big old thing from him. He actually says, here, Mark. So here, you want this for souvenirs? Yeah, sure, I'll take it. But you can get it. We can go play, but in the hotels and stuff. But honestly, they take dollars. So like a lot of places, like let's say you want a Coke at one of these at Herodium. Herodium, you go in. There's a little place where you can get drinks and stuff. They take dollars. So if you want to do that, you can do it.
They're American.
Yeah, they have some. Yeah, so you don't. I've never had to change for shekels. I do have some shekels just for more souvenirs, but I've never had to change for shekels. So
And then how about phones on
yes.
either coming or going? Have you or anybody else had your phones confiscated, scanned, anything like that? No?
Never had a problem with phones. They're great there. I've never had any issues on the travel side. Never had any issues going into Israel, coming out of Israel. Now I know we're doing Amman this time.
I'm also worried about coming back to the U.S.
Yeah. They've never had any issues. Because they know we're just tourists that have been there for a week and a half. So
Well,
yeah.
I've just heard a lot of reports lately from
And maybe-
travelers that they're getting burner phones because
Yeah.
I can't remember if it
Things
was
might have
going
changed.
somewhere or coming back. Yeah,
But
it's-
now I do have contacts that just got back, which I can ask them these questions too, because they literally just got back. The guy that I talked to this past week, he came back I think a week and a half. He did this exact trip that we're about to do. He did almost the exact same thing. He started in Amman, finished in Amman. So yeah, I had no problems though. But other questions?
How many total days are we in country?
So from day one, there's 10 days of kind of teaching days. Okay, so now that 10th day, we've got to get back to the border crossing by 1:30, which is earlier than we anticipated, but we're gonna make it happen. No worries. So that's gonna be a morning that we got to get going if we're gonna do all the stuff that we want to do that morning and see all the stuff. But we'll get to the border crossing on time.
And then flight wise, it's what I assume a 2-day flight or a day plus.
Yeah,
flight?
I mean, so the longest
Because
flight's
of
going to be the very
time
first.
zone and everything like that.
Yeah, exactly. So the first flight from Atlanta over is usually the longest flight, about 10, 11 hours. But it's through the night. They turn off all the lights, so they'll feed you, turn off all the lights, you'll go to sleep, you'll wake up, here's breakfast. That's ideal if you can sleep on a plane, which I cannot, okay? So I'm up the whole time watching, okay, let's see, Rocky 1, so I'm doing all these different movies and stuff, but everybody else is sleeping. I'm like, good for you, good fellas. So,
Who do we fly on?
so we use Turkish Airlines. That's who GTI get, and they're phenomenal. They're really, really good. Yeah. So Turkish Airlines is what we use.
How many people are signed up to go?
Okay, so we currently have 26 is our current number, I believe, is 26. So yeah,
And we're good?
yeah, we're good. We're good. No worries.
Okay, so since things seem to be kind of heating up over there with Iran and all that, is there a chance that they could tell us this is, well, I mean, I know you can't really answer this yet, there's always a chance that they could tell
Yeah.
us
So-
it's not safe, but
So just so you know, the way it works with GTI, and I always tell people this is GTI is not going to let us go somewhere that's not safe. Like they have people on the ground in these countries. Like they have people full time in Israel, full time in Jordan. They know what's going on, and it's not because of media reports. Like they know exactly what's going on, what's safe, what is not. And I'll tell you, a lot of stuff that we will see on TV and that sort of thing, in reality there, it's not like affecting daily living. Okay, so what we see, it's like when they see from us, oh, there was this happened in Miami, Florida, or this happened in Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, it didn't affect us at all. Like, yeah, that's not anywhere closer. Like, we're not, by the way, we're not going to the Gaza Strip. Okay, so that's I took that out of the itinerary. Okay, so no Gaza Strip. I hope that doesn't hurt your feelings. But we're not, the vast majority of the places where we're going, we're not going anywhere close to danger zone. Now, can anything happen anywhere? The answer is yes. I mean, we're in the Middle East, yes. But at the same time, I'm telling you, that's not something I'm personally worried about as far as that goes. I mean, it's one of those things where I trust GTI. They've been doing this since 1992, have had zero issues, ever. They know what they're doing, like is what I'm telling you. They run over 100 trips a year to Israel. Like they do these, this is what they do for a living, right? And so I have all the confidence in the world. Now, let's say something happens. GTI will work with us where we could postpone our trip. Worst case scenario, postpone our trip. GTI does everything they can to get as much money as they can back. They have a great relationship with Turkish Airlines. That's why we use them, because they use them so much that Turkish will go everything they can to get everything back, right? So with all the stuff that's happened, that has had to happen in the past. When all the war broke out, they had all these trips planned. Well, guess what? They got almost all their money back on every one of those trips. So yeah, we will figure it out if that happens. Again, be praying against that happening. But at the same time, I trust GTI with, I've used them so much. This will be my 6th trip with GTI. I trust them. I mean, they're not going to steer us wrong. So.
And where do we land when we leave Atlanta here and go from
So, yes, so we always go through Istanbul, Turkey.
Okay.
Now, our destination, though, this time is Amman, Jordan, rather than Tel Aviv. Okay, so we're not doing Tel Aviv. Now, the reason for that is Tel Aviv tends to shut down quickly. Okay, if something's going on, Amman does not, which means this has happened in the past where if you're going into Tel Aviv, something happens, you can't get into the country and that sort of thing. Through Amman, you can get in still. And there's nothing going on where we're going. It's just Tel Aviv is quick to, something's going on. So Amman is the safer option to make sure there's no interruptions. And that's part of why GTI is doing a lot through Amman right now, which I was excited about. I've always wanted to lead a trip starting in Jordan, and I've never done it yet. I've been to Jordan, but I've never led a trip in Jordan. So I've always wanted this itinerary. This forced me to take this itinerary. So I was actually very happy for it. So
How much cash money you consider bringing,
yeah,
considering, gifts or
Yeah.
trinkets that you might want to buy?
So
And also, second question is visas.
Uh-huh.
How do we get those visas?
yeah, visas. No worries on the visa yet. They will take care of that closer to time. They said, don't worry, that's going to be easy to get. The visa's cheap. I think it's $25. We have to get it because we're spending more than one night in Jordan. Okay,
So they'll let us
so but GTI will help us with that, and they said don't worry about it quite yet. They will walk us through that process. No big deal. I mean, I talked to them recently. No big deal on that. They will walk us through that. Second thing, as far as cash, Johnny's does take credit cards, so if you're going to do that, you may not need to take as much cash. I generally, personally I probably take $200 to $300 just to have. Now I've come back with $200 to $300 like every time. So, but I don't spend a lot of money. Like sometimes people will be out and they'll have ice cream and it's hot and they want to get them. By the way, have you all had a Magnum bar? You can get them here, but I've never had a Magnum bar till I got there. And I don't know if there's something different about it than an Israeli Magnum bar, but it's phenomenal. So you might want a few dollars for a Magnum bar when it's like 1,000 degrees out and you're hot. But also like you might want a Coke or a Sprite or something like that. With our meals, you will have water and you will have certain drinks. There might be something that you want separately. I don't know, but that might be why you might take a few dollars for that. But that's about it. I mean, there's really not a lot. Now, I will say on my donkey ride the first time, that I showed you the picture of that little solar powered battery pack thing. I've had one of those, and this boy's like, dude, you got to give me that. How much do you want? And he was trying to wheel and deal with me to try to buy that thing. I was like, no, so anyway, but. Anyway, there
Is
are
there anything
some.
else? We should bring Nikes to Hawk and
I
make
mean,
some money off of.
hey, if you want to make some money back that you're paying on this trip,
Yeah.
you can do that. So,
Hey, Mark, are we paying for the donkey ride out?
no, it's included.
Okay.
Donkey rides included is if you want.
Golf cart.
If you want the golf cart, then that's where it's actually two $10 golf cart rides. One gets you halfway there a mile, the other gets you the other mile. So it's actually two golf cart rides, both are $10.
Can you play 9 holes too while you're at it?
It may be $20. I don't know. Anyway, well you might. I don't know. That would be a tough place there at Petra with all the. All right. So
The
other
hazards.
questions.
Fast greens.
Yeah,
Fast greens.
yeah.
Yeah,
What's the
yeah.
water-wise? I assume water's all safe to
Okay.
drink.
So yes.
I'm thinking Mexico, but
No. Okay. Technically, Israeli water is cleaner than our water. They usually tell you to not drink it because you're not used to it. It is very safe, very clean. Now, we will have enough water with those gallons of water that you. So they'll line the bus. Literally, the bus is I think it holds like 48 people or something like that. You'll see first day you'll get in that bus and it's going to be lined with gallon waters all down it. Okay, right down the middle. And so you're welcome. Now on my pack, thankful to I don't know if Shane did this for you, but
I haven't.
Shane made me a little insulator to put my bladder in of my backpack because without it, your back sweats.
And you get hot.
It gets hot. So if you like hot water, that's your thing. Now, the other tip I will give you, I learned this my first trip, is a lot of the hotels have a refrigerator / freezer in there. Get a water the night before, get it cold, put it in there the next morning cold, and your back still sweats and it's still going to get warmer, but at least it's starting out cold. Okay, so but yeah, my first trip I didn't even know about. I mean, we didn't do insulators or anything. My first 2 trips, I was hiking. I got used to hot water, and I didn't mind it because I was thirsty enough. They do. I meant to put a picture of this on there. On the bladder, I will tell you this before we go, but on the bladder, you can actually get from the company a little top that goes on the mouthpiece so that when your bag's on the ground, it's not getting dirty and nasty. I would recommend getting that. It's like $5. It's cheap. But I will get that to you as we get closer to time. You can order it off Amazon and stuff like that. But I usually recommend it just because, I mean, unless you like, dirty mouth drink sort of thing. So, and also too, in your pack, just think about it. You can put some electrolytes. Like I'll do that sometimes. If I've been drinking lots of water, I'll put a little bit of electrolytes in my pack. But you might want to rinse it out that night when you get back to the hotel. But I'll give you more of these tips closer to time. So.
Mark, are they
yes.
going to offer the fanny packs too?
They don't really have any fanny packs anymore. So they used to offer fanny packs instead of the backpacks. I mean, you could ask Joni, like if you call our travel agent and just say, I already have a backpack, I don't need a backpack, ask her for a fanny pack. You might be able to get one. I mean, I like to have one too, but yeah, you can ask Joni just to see. And you can look over the packing list. I'm not going to go over this line by line, but if you have questions, feel free. I have certain socks that are really good on here. I have, you know, as far as the supplies, there's all kinds of stuff. But this is more of a checklist. And you don't have to have everything on this list, by the way. Okay? Don't go through this and say, I have to order everything on here. This is more for you as we get close to time to say, is there anything I'm forgetting? Okay, I like having these sort of things on my trips so that people can say, let's see, because I've seen, you know, oh wow, I forgot, I didn't even think about bringing that. You know what I mean? So.
Do you have clotheslines on this trip?
I don't remember if I have it on there or not. Clotheslines are a good point. I'm trying to remember now if I have it on there. If not, clotheslines are good. I think I do somewhere.
Well, if you want to pay for
Now,
it.
in Galilee, in our hotel in Galilee, I think there is an option to wash your clothes, possibly. We usually, you're usually taking the dry fit stuff anyway, so a lot of times with that, you know, you can do it in the sink, you know, real fast, and by the next morning they're dry. Like you hang them up overnight, and by the next morning they're dry, or you hang them up outside, and you're good. And so especially in Galilee, when we're there at the same hotel for several nights, what I tell people is get enough clothes for half the trip, do some laundry, and then wear them again. Nobody's gonna care, okay? You don't have to get clothes for every single day, right? I mean, it's completely fine.
And the dryer sheets, or the soap sheets are great to travel with, because you just tear off a little bit. So you don't have to worry about it.
Other questions? Anything that you can think of? Was there anything else, Matt? Was that it? Okay, just making sure. Yeah, I mean, you'll probably think of other questions when you get home. You know, you're like, wow, I should have asked that. I mean, email me, text me. It's fine. We you know, we're all in this together. We've got 103 days to get all this. I'm working hard trying to get everything figured out as far as the actual itinerary and what all we're learning on each site. So we do have a pastor from North Carolina that's coming too. And he basically has said, you know, he's up to teach as much as I want him, or he's like, I'm just there for you, so do whatever. So anyway, I tell you that is we do have him and his wife on this trip too, and he's a great guy. You're gonna love him. So
what language is the signs in there for translating?
Well, there's
Or
signs are in
other
3
things.
different languages. Okay, so you have Hebrew, you have Arabic, and you have English. So
Okay.
like signs are in all 3 languages typically.
Most things are gonna be.
Or like road
English.
signs. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just thinking
Yeah.
even like, I mean,
Yeah.
she's looking for like ingredient list of something,
Yeah, I got you.
aka the nut thing.
Well, and that's part of why we have our local people there, because if they know, you know, what you have, they're going to make sure. So part of whenever you signed up, you did have allergies. They know that. They do an amazing job. Like I had one on my last trip that had several allergies, and every single day they would bring them their own meal, you know, like that's handmade for them that they knew didn't have any of those things. They had a lot of allergies, but they're phenomenal. Like they're really good to work with. So, other questions?
About what time do we wrap up each day?
Okay.
And how much sleep?
Yeah,
we
no,
expect?
yeah. We're gonna go to 11 p.m. and wake
3 to
up
4
at
hours.
no. Okay, so we generally want to get back to the hotel by like 5 because
Supper.
most sites close at 4:30. Okay, so most of these sites that we're going to, we have to be out by 4:30, which is why we have to stay on track. Like when I talk about when we're at some of these sites, my guide is trying to keep me going because, for instance, if we don't get to Caesarea Maritima by 3:30, we can't go in. We miss a whole site. So yes, that's a big day. Bet Shan, we can stay there all day. Megiddo, we can stay there all day. Mount Carmel, coolest spot. I mean, it's a really awesome spot. You're gonna love it. But we gotta keep going, or we can't get to the spot we really want to get to at the end of the day. So that's why we've got to be quick on and off the bus as much as possible. I'm going to give you like a 5-minute warning. Get your bag together. Make sure you have sunscreen on. Make sure you have water so that when we stop the bus, we're ready to go. As much as possible. Now, I'm not saying it's a race or anything, but I tell people, the quicker we can get to places, the more we get to see. And so this is your trip. I mean, I've seen all of it. This is your trip. And the more you want to see, the more we need to really stay moving. Okay?
So
yeah.
what's daylight hours then?
Now, we're going to be in the summer, which is long, so we're good. I mean,
Okay.
the daylight goes well past then. We'll get back to our hotel, still have daylight. When we get to the Dead Sea, it's going to be daylight when we go down there and float. I mean, it's going to be light late there. You're going to be good. And then it's going to be light when you wake up. I mean, it's going to be, early.
So
Now,
are they just closing these sites because that's just kind of their work day?
yeah, so their sites, it's all national parks. So they all close at 4:30. So all these sites close at 4:30 pretty much. The other thing is breakfast. Generally, we try to do breakfast like 7:30. Okay. I like to get on the bus, depending on the day, 7:30 to 8 probably. Okay, I like to get going because again, I mean, we have one shot in Israel. Like, I mean, I hope you want to kind of get going so you can see these things because there's a definite end time. So to get going, it's important. My first trip there, we had to be on the bus. We were out for devotion at 6:50 every day. 6:50. So we had to eat breakfast at 6:30, devotion at 6:50, got on the bus at 7 o'clock every single day. I have not found a group that wants to do that yet, but that is something that we were trying to really get going to do as much as possible. So, any other questions? Does this make it exciting? Is this a downer? I mean, I hope not. If this is a downer, I'm sorry.
It's a lot to absorb.
No, yeah, you're just, this is the
I
beginning.
mean, we're still
Oh, yeah.
looking at,
This is, yeah, every day. That's why I'm telling you, every day, it's like drinking out of a fire hose. It is. I mean, that's why I'd like to record every lesson, audio record. I'd like to send them to you when I get back so that you can go back and listen to them. I'm going to give you every bit of my notes. When you get home, I'm going to send you a file with every bit of my notes that I'm using. Because I want you to have these resources. I want you to be able to refer back to them. There's going to be times you're like, okay, where did I learn that? It's happened to me all the time. Where did I learn that? And I had to try to figure it out. I want to give that to you. I want you to have all of that where you can just find whatever you need as quickly as you need.
Can I get a hardback book?
Hardback book.
Do you have any notes? Yeah, bound it for me.
I
It's
mean-
probably about that big.
You know. What other questions? Anything else before we wrap up? If you have anything else that you think of, you can come up here in a minute and talk to me. But let me again finish by praying. God, I thank you for this group that you've put together. I know it's not accidental who you put together, and I pray, God, that we would be learning everything that you want us to learn, that you would prepare our hearts and our bodies and our minds and everything for what you want to show us. I pray that right now you would go before us and every day would be exactly in your will, like exactly what you want us to do. Protect us from places maybe you don't want us to go. And help us just to come back as your disciples, not just knowing more, but walking out what you're teaching us. We love you and thank you in Jesus' name. By the way, the 26th is the last day. If you know anybody on the fence of joining the trip, the 26th, they release all the other airline tickets. Okay? So we have 4 days. If anybody's going to sign up at this, they can still go after the 26th. They'll just have to get their own, they'll have to get the airlines. It's going to be probably more. So anybody that may be on the fence of going, they can still sign up till the 26th at the same price. After that, we don't know what the price is going to be. They can still come. But if you know anybody, this is the time to talk to them.
I mean, is that the price for the air only?
What do you mean? After the 26th, it'll be, the air price will drop off and you'll have to get new airlines, so it's likely going to be more expensive a little bit. If
Mark,
that
do
makes
you
sense.
have any plans on how to get from here to Atlanta?
We will talk about that.
Okay.
Because we'll figure out how to get from here to Atlanta, and some of you may want to carpool, we may want to get something, but we will find a way. If somebody wants to fly, so we did Atlanta, it's usually Chicago, but I said Atlanta's a lot easier for us to get to. And so some people might want to fly from Nashville, I don't know. I'll probably drive from here to Atlanta, but we can figure that out closer to time. I figure we can carpool and figure
We'll
it
be
out.
returning to Atlanta as well. right?
Yes, returning to Atlanta, so let's figure all that out. But yeah, we'll figure that out closer to time.
But she told me you already made a payment, so how much would I have to give you? You all made a payment?
Not me. I mean, so yeah.
Yeah, they, when you sign up earlier, they kind of give you a schedule. of
GTI.
tickets, But
So-
when you go on their website,
Yeah.
you can find it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Like I said, any questions come on up? If not, y'all are ready. Thank you for coming. Appreciate y'all. I know it.